Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's been a while. If you guys have not already subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. My name is Isaiah, and I basically run the Isaiah Tops channel. And today we're going to be ranking all of the superhero movies that were released in theaters from the worst to the best. My list isn't the right list. Make sure you guys let me know your list down below in the comment section. Starting off with the worst, we have Morbius. I really don't know what happened here. I was actually really looking forward to this movie, but then it just kept getting pushed back, and I was really looking forward to Jared Leto as Morbius. This movie was actually so much of a letdown that I didn't even release a review for it on the channel. There's nothing positive that I really have to say about this one. I mean, Jared Leto does his best to try to shine through his character with his performance, and there are pretty okay moments in this movie. It's just that the CGI is terrible. The storyline is very incoherent at times, where the character motivations do not make sense, and then all of a sudden it's just they completely change motivation. And it's clear that Sony's trying to shove as many Spider-Man elements in there as possible, but then a lot of those elements were taken out, and it's very incoherent with what happened with the end credit scene with No Way Home. Especially that end credit. That makes no sense. There's a lot of things that breaks continuity, and this movie just did not work for me.
I'm still figuring this place out, but I think a bunch of guys like us should team up. Could do some good.
Intriguing.
Next up, we have Thor: Love and Thunder. Again, another letdown. I mean, I saw the trailer and I was already iffy on the trailer, but I could already tell that there was something a little bit off. And Taika Waititi had a lot more control with this overall movie, which, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? That's the saying, because Thor Ragnarok did make a lot of money, and it did win over a lot of people to Thor, the character of Thor. However, they did push too hard with a lot of elements in this movie, and it just did not work. For example, the storyline really doesn't make a lot of sense when you really think about it, and there's multiple elements that break continuity within the MCU, which is the problem when you introduce newer elements that kind of break prior established logic. For example, if Stormbreaker can travel to the wishing area that basically Gore went to at the end of the movie, why couldn't Thor use that to bring everybody back after the snap? Makes no sense in the right word, and the comedy just really overshadows this movie and causes it from having moments that potentially could be serious to just watering those down to have no impact overall and no emotional connection to any of these characters.
And giant goats!
Oh, look at those! They are wonderful!
Yes, they are. They also scream quite a lot.
I wanted to like the Jane Foster storyline of the cancer storyline, but the fact that they had Deadpool have a better cancer storyline than this movie, that's embarrassing. One positive I will say is that opening scene almost won me over. That opening scene was amazing. I just wish that we got more moments like that. In the next spot, we have DC League of Super Pets. Now, this one's very off because personally for me, it's not my cup of tea. I mean, it's a really kid-friendly movie, and I don't really like watching those all the time. Now, with that being said, I really do like the animation. The animation, just from an artist's standpoint, looks really good. I do like some of the character designs, except Cyborg. I have no idea what's going on with the half afro going there. And the storyline is actually pretty fun. But that's also the biggest problem I have with this movie is the storyline. I was expecting them to be like the animal counterparts of the main heroes instead of them just getting superpowers from MacGuffin plotline. Like, to me, that just did not work out well. And there was a reference to Black Adam at the end of the movie that was funny, and there's quite a few funny jokes in this movie. It's just that overall, again, this movie is just not my cup of tea, and there's something more that I was expecting from the storyline that would kind of play into the joke aspect. Like Wonder Pig, that would have been even more amazing, I'm just saying, this is just my personal opinion. If you enjoyed the movie, I'm not gonna knock you for it. I mean, it is a fun family film, and there's fun to be had. It's just not my cup of tea, and it's why it's not ranked that high. Next up, we have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now this is where we start getting into the good category of this list, like the really good. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was actually a fun ride. I actually enjoyed a lot of elements of the movie, but I did not enjoy a lot of elements about this movie. Number one, the multiverse aspect. I didn't enjoy that. Now, it was fun seeing the cameos of the Illuminati, and I did enjoy a lot of things that they did with them. But I felt like with a title that's titled Multiverse of Madness, we should probably go around a little bit more across the multiverse, right? And it should be a little bit more crazy than what it got. Essentially, this wasn't even really a Doctor Strange movie neither. This was more of a Wanda movie after the events of WandaVision. And that's also another problem too, is the fact that if you haven't seen WandaVision, you're gonna have no idea what's going on in this movie either, which is a problem more with Disney Plus. It has nothing to really do with this movie. However, director Sam Raimi brought his A game and brought a Marvel horror movie, which definitely stands out from a lot of the rest of the genre of superhero movies. I also enjoy it a lot more than the first Doctor Strange. The first Doctor Strange, just something doesn't hit for me. This one has its own unique flavor, its own unique style. Again, it's just visually looks pleasing, and really that's mostly what it has to it, and a lot of it plays in its favor. But the main standout is those Illuminati kills. That was shocking when I first saw that. I'm like, Mr. Fantastic just got here. Again, you know, just not a great movie, but it's still fun to be had with it. Next up is Black Adam. I know what you guys are thinking. How could I put this movie so high up? Well, it's because I actually did genuinely have some fun with this. It's a bad movie by every sense of the word. Terrible storyline, terrible plot, terrible dialogue, but the way it's handled, it's like the movie knows it's stupid, but just plays it up. Just have a fun time. Some movies just need to be a dumb action movie sometimes, and this was a dumb action movie. The Rock was definitely brought his own unique flavor to the character of Black Adam, and I thought that he was pretty okay. I just wish that they did a bit more with him, because to me it wasn't really Black Adam, it was more of The Rock playing as Black Adam. And that's the biggest problem with it, is the fact that this didn't really feel like a Black Adam movie. It was more of like a Rock superhero movie with other heroes in there. The main standouts being the JLA with Hawkman and Dr. Fate. Those two I thought were awesome. Aldous Hodge as Hawkman was really good, and Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate was the highlight. I wish they did more with him, but what we got, this is the best interpretation of Dr. Fate that we've gotten. And this also left the door open for what could potentially happen in the DCEU. Maybe because that Henry Cavill post-credit scene is basically meaningless now.
No. Wait.
Coming up next, we have Wakanda Forever. This movie was actually very surprising. I did not think that this movie was going to be very good. I thought the trailers were going to be overhyping and stuff like that, but it actually did deliver on quite a few elements. Do I think this movie is absolutely fantastic? No.
He said it.
There are some elements that I think kind of make this movie fall apart, but is the movie still really good? Yes. It's not as good as the first Black Panther, and there's many reasons as to that. First of all, I feel like Shuri's character did have a huge character shift. Now, again, you could use the excuse that there was her brother's death, but at the same time, the character of Shuri did not feel like the character of Shuri in this movie. However, her replacing the Black Panther title did feel earned, and it didn't feel contrived, and I really did enjoy that element to the story. The mom was the best part of the movie. Shuri's mom, Queen of Wakanda, best part of the movie for sure. And Namor was a pretty solid villain, although I will say the way they did the wings on his feet, I did not feel intimidated when I saw those wings on his feet.
Killing him.
Looked really silly, man. Also, there was a lot of gloom to this movie, and rightfully so when they're dealing with the death of T'Challa in the movie and also the death of Chadwick in real life. They were already dealt a bad hand in this movie, and they did the best they could with what they had. And again, gloom really worked for this movie because, again, there's so many Marvel movies now that are so overly silly that there felt like there was no stakes. I actually did feel like there were stakes in this movie, and there was a lot of fun to be had with a lot of just the humor sprinkled here and there. However, The biggest problem I had was the Namor storyline. I didn't feel like it was completely coherent throughout the entire movie. Bringing in Riri Williams like that as Ironheart did not work. That whole story was completely unnecessary. It also, if you really pick it apart, it really does not make no sense. For example, like, why would they not have other vibranium detectors made other than just from this kid? And if she did make this thing, she would have a lot more government assistance than what she was given. There's just elements to that story that just did not need to happen, and the fact that Wakanda is willing to turn his back on the rest of the world again, but then they can't turn their kid, or turn their back to, you know, this random kid that they don't know. You know, it's just elements like that just did not make sense. I mean, I get it, you're introducing her for Ironheart series, but felt very contrived, felt very uneven. Well, all in all, still a really good movie. But number one place, and you guys already knew this was coming, was The Batman. Now, there is no recency bias. I don't want to hear people saying recency bias. This movie has been out for almost a year now. Almost a year. So I've had plenty of time to watch it, plenty of time to break stuff down, and I really don't know what to tell you guys. This is my favorite Batman movie. Besides Mask of the Phantasm, and Batman Begins is kind of leveled up there a little bit. But from a standpoint of this being the Dark Knight brought to the screen, this is everything I've wanted from the Batman character. It's not an action movie, but that's fine. They focus more on the detective elements of Batman. But at the same time, he's also not the world's greatest detective yet, because he's still newer to this job. He's only been Batman for 2 years. He's relatively new. He's still figuring things out. Even he has faulty gadgets in the movie as well at times. And even with the whole thing that's revealed at the end, people are like, how did you not figure that out? I'm like, because he's a rookie at this. When he figured it out, Robert Pattinson's acting in that scene showed that he was like a, oh, of course type of moment, where he's just looking like, how did I not pick that up? And the character acknowledges these mistakes in the movie multiple times. In the whole wingsuit part, he fails at gliding, and he's scared when he gets at the top of the building because he has a sense of, oh shoot, and he remembers, oh, I have this wingsuit. He activates it, gets away, but messes himself up in the process, which is gadgets that he's going to improve on in the next movie. And that whole Bruce Wayne persona does not exist in this version yet. He has yet to develop that playboy billionaire persona, and this is not the same Bruce Wayne. Like, he's very troubled. He's very early on. He's a young, angry guy who's just trying to help the world, but do it in the wrong way. He's doing it for more selfish reasons than more selfless. And at the end of the movie, it's established that he wants to become more of a symbol of hope to people, being more selfless than more selfish and a symbol of vengeance. He has a lot of growing to do, and I cannot wait to see what Matt Reeves does with this character going forward. A very, very deep storyline with this character, deep elements. You could argue that the third act is the weakest part of this movie, and I could agree to that, but the third act in The Dark Knight was also the weakest part of that movie as well. So again, it's all your preference again. When people argue which is better, The Dark Knight and this, I mean, I don't really feel like it's a fair argument because there are elements in both movies that could be pointed out as not working. But all in all, I feel like there's way, way, way more good in this movie than there was bad. And in my opinion, it is a masterpiece in the superhero genre, which is why it's at number one. Let me know what you guys think of my list. Again, my list is not the right list. It's just my opinion. We can all agree to disagree, and let me know down in the comment section what you guys thought. What are your guys' favorite movies of the year as well? You guys have a happy new year. I hope you guys enjoy the movie. Enjoy the video, and as always, if you guys like the video, make sure to subscribe today to join the Azellization.